So, hello and welcome to the first video of Global Nomads with a Newf. When we started or decided that we were going to start this journey, which came about because my husband Lee, also known as Hippie-Lawyer-Dude or HLD, retired from being a defense attorney in December of last year. And we were going to spend 6 months in Belize and 6 months in Portugal. I figured that I wanted to visit as much of the US as we could before we left, because I knew that if we came to the US, we would either go to Seattle, where my boys are, or Nashville, where my daughter is. My daughter and her husband and their son, and my 2 boys and my granddaughter live in Seattle. So we had a lot of friends who were very interested in finding, by the way, the background music is Dave Alvin, one of my very, very, very favorites. But we had a lot of friends who wanted to, oh, you turned it off. We had a lot of friends who wanted to follow our adventures and see what was going on, and they wanted to know if we had an Instagram, and I had actually started a blog, but a dear, dear, dear friend of mine from Seattle told me that a lot of people don't really have time to read blogs, and he suggested that I do a podcast. Anyway, that never came about, and we started our journey, and we were putting things on Instagram, and I think maybe I wrote like 2 stories for the blog. So a bunch of stuff happened, and we got to New Mexico. We got to Silver City, which is where we are now. We were going to spend 2 days here, and then the whole COVID thing hit the fan, and because I'm high risk, we decided we were going to stay here because we're in a really good place. It's a really, really nice RV park. The owners are wonderful. They're in the process of selling the place, but they're just really, really great. And so we figured we would stay here. So we've been in New Mexico since February, and it is now July the 9th. And the people who are going to be the new owners suggested that we do a YouTube video and have our own channel and all this other stuff. So that's where Global Nomads with a Newf came from. We have a 163-pound brown Newfoundland. We have a 23-foot RV, and she takes up most of the space. So anyway, we've been trying to figure out how we're gonna start this video, and so I thought I would start with the beginnings of the story, and then both Lee and I would tell stories of our adventure, which has been insane up until we got here, and we would just sort of like share that part of it. But I figured I'd get started. We want to include our Newfoundland, whose name is Coco, K-O-K-O. She's 8 years old. She's named after the blues singer Coco Taylor. So her official name is Coco Taylor Edmund Gary, which is both of our last names. And we want to include her in it as well. And while we're not going to be doing the videos where, okay, so we've seen a lot of videos where people tell you, oh, this is how we do this, and this is how we do that, and this is, we are trying to be more laid back and just say, okay, this is what we did, this is what worked, this didn't work, and not be too hung up on like the precise way of doing things. So this is the first official video of Global Nomads with a Newf, and I think I'm going to cut down the story into different parts so that you don't get bored of seeing my face and listening to everybody and that sort of stuff. So originally when we were going to do this trip, my husband Lee had a small Prius whose name was Sally, and we were looking into how we were going to do this trip, and we decided we were going to do it. We were going to be truck campers. So we bought a truck, Toyota Tacoma. His name was Levon, and we were looking into campers for the truck and figured out that there is no way that we're going to fit the two of us and the Newfie and the parrot. We have an African gray whose name is Votan into this truck. So let me tell you about the African gray. He was so pissed off at this entire adventure that he plucked off every single feather that he had except the ones on his head where he couldn't reach. Actually bit Lee, which he's never done. He was so angry, and on our trip through Tucson, because we take Coco everywhere, she was with us in this RV place, which I'm not going to name because I'm going to wait until I get rich and famous, and then they can use my YouTube video for propaganda. But anyway, in this place we met this wonderful lady who absolutely adores animals, loved Coco, and she told us that she rescued greyhounds, and she rescued horses, and she also had an African gray. And we were thinking that she could foster our African gray until we got to the other side of the US, which was either Mexico or Belize, because we've heard some horror stories about people having their birds stolen, even if you have all the paperwork, and have Votan have a stable place to be. So he is being fostered by this wonderful person, and she sends pictures to us, and we're in touch with her and everything, and Votan's actually getting feathers back, and he seems so happy, and she treats him like just like we did. She's a wonderful, amazing person. So when we are able to be in wherever it is we end up, because with COVID, now we don't know where we're going to end up, when we're going to end up, when the border's going to open, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So I forgot what I was talking about. That's about Votan, right? So, right. So there wasn't going to be any space on this truck, the camping truck for all of us. So we decided that we would get an RV. And we have heard horror stories of people spending ridiculous amounts of money on RVs, and the RVs spend like 6 months out of the year in the shop and they can't even use them. So, we didn't want to spend an arm and a leg on an RV. And so we found the RV that we're in now in Vashon, I think it was, one of the islands in Seattle. And we drove over there. Actually, we Ubered. I think we took a ferry and Ubered over there so we could drive back. Oh, Bremerton, so we could drive back with the RV. And we looked at it, and it was it. It was like, this is the one. Didn't smell like mildew, didn't smell like mold. It was perfectly clean. Everything was wonderful. We drove him on the ferry back to our house in Seattle, and oh my fucking God. Pretty much, I can't even explain to you everything that was wrong, and that's going to be in the next episode. We're going to tell you the stories of what we went through to get to where we are right now, what we hope our plans are, and how much fun it is to travel as a married couple. It's actually a lot more fun than I thought. I really love spending my time with my husband. He drives me fucking crazy, but I enjoy his company. He spends a lot of time practicing the guitar because one of his dreams were to spend, if he were ever put in jail, he wanted to spend all his time learning how to play a musical instrument. And since I think the ukulele was too small for his hands or something, so he decided to get a guitar. And coincidentally, my daughter and son-in-law are musicians. My daughter is the most amazing, incredible opera singer. There is nothing like her voice. And she also plays the piano, she plays the guitar, and she plays the violin. And her husband was a guitar major, so they both are musicians. She was teaching at a charter underserved middle school in Nashville until she had the baby, and he was a music teacher, and now he does some sort of IT thing involved with the schools in Nashville as well. So anyway, this is gonna be our story. We're gonna share our adventures with you and share our probably everyday life. We don't know how often we'll be posting. Oh, there's the Newf. She is, you've got to see her. She's the most amazing, most wonderful, most beautiful Newfoundland in the world. Hey, Coco, say hi to the subscribers to our channel. Coco, look at me. There she is. Oh, there she is. She wants a treat right now. Okay, so anyway, that is 12 minutes of utter nonsense that I've got to go through and edit. I am very fluent in sailor language, so this is not suitable for children if you don't like your kids to listen to the vocabulary that they would hear on a school bus. And that's just the synopsis and the plot of this story. I hope you subscribe so that you can hear it. I think it's going to be really funny because my husband is really, really funny. He's really a cool guy. All right, so like they say, like the young'uns say, don't forget to like and subscribe.